guys, and welcome back to my channel. So I'm back with the 20-week update in my teacher bujo. So you guys can see that the notebook is getting a little bit more beat up. Actually, over here, I've got a little bit of separation going, which honestly, I use this notebook pretty hard. I mean, it comes with me to work every single day. I'm always taking it in and out of my bag. I have it on the desk. So I'm not super surprised that parts of the cover are kind of coming apart, but it is a little bit of a bummer just in terms of the longevity of the notebook, but it's still holding up fairly well overall. I mean, none of the pages have come out or anything like that. It's a little dirty on the back just from sitting on the desk, but it's not too bad. So that's just kind of for the notebook, but let's take a look at the actual planner side. So I'm gonna kind of flip through. You guys have seen a ton of this stuff before, so we're gonna just go back. So I showed you guys in the last update was up through week 10. So you guys can see here, November was, week 10 was over here. And you can see that I was still filling out a lot of my monthlies. I had, which classes I had each day and all of that. And I actually stopped doing that in December, and I basically only put in big events. So for example, some of my classes have these like written exams that I have to prepare the exam paper for. So I have those written down. I have, when we have our end of term meetings, I have those written down. What else? Random meetings that have come up, all of that kind of stuff. But you can see that I've been using my monthlies less and less just because it seemed a little bit redundant to write down which classes I have, since I do look at my weeklies so frequently. So I did just sort of make the decision to not do that and only put in the specific meetings that come up that I need to know about. So that is through February. So we are actually currently on week 20, and that means that the end of the week is actually in March. So you'll see I don't really have anything going on for the end of the week here. And I have a couple things in here. I do still try and color code when I can, but it's, yeah, not as important. I will say, let's see, oopsie daisy, here we go. I've abandoned this. Like, let's be honest, it's week 20, I've done absolutely nothing. I have completely abandoned my curriculum pacing guide, and honestly, it's not that big of a deal. I feel like I've got an okay rhythm for how long my units take and all of that kind of stuff, so I'm not really fussed about this. This is definitely something for the next school year that I'm not going to do because it takes a lot of time to set up, but I haven't used it this year, so there's no point. And honestly, all of the other stuff that I had planned on doing in this section, I eventually, at some point, just took out all of the sticky notes, and this is just blank paper. So if I need more notes, then that's what this section is going to be used for, but we will see. So let's take a look. Here is week 10. So this, for example, I had 2 classes that were on they had an internship that week, so I just wrote it at the top of the week here, and that's why you'll see there's no pink or orange on the page for this week. But yeah, things have been going pretty well. This is actually, we have what's called medical leave, essentially. And it's not like in the US where you can just say, hey, I'm sick, I need to use a couple of I need to use a sick day. You actually have to go to the doctor and get a doctor's note, and they do this big official paper that says you have to stop working until this date or whatever. So I actually was on sick leave for these 3 days, which is why I had started filling out and then was just and I'm not gonna be at work, oops. So, yep. That's how that went. Yeah, these were meetings. I do color code my end of term meetings just so I kind of know at a glance which classes I have which days. You'll see this section over here gets used pretty regularly, sometimes very regularly. So honestly, this has been working really well. I really like this particular setup. I like having everything color coded. I've been really good about keeping up with the color code in terms of classes. I have some things when I have various activities that are just school-wide related, I'll put them in black pen, but I try to color code everything else just to make it as easy as possible for me to see what's going on. Box this in red because that was super important. I even have started color coding my tasks sometimes, or important things I do in red. but that just kind of depends on the week and on how I decided to do that. You'll notice here a lot of times I'll do, if they have an assignment due, I just write it small up at the top of the box so that when I open up my weekly, I know, oh yeah, I have to make sure I collect that assignment from them. This was one that I was going to announce a test for them, so they had to study for it for the following week, so I wanted to make sure I didn't forget to do that. I use this section up here, I'll write little notes to myself. So this was an end of term for a couple of the grades, and then the rest of the grades for the next week. I had, I think back here, I had a couple of things. This actually, because the kids could send it to me via email, I just did it on the day, because I actually don't have that class this day. So I just wrote, they had their videos due in the color, but I didn't actually put it on here because I didn't see them that day. So moving on, this actually normally had class, but I forgot I had a meeting, so I wrote that in after, so I would not forget that that was why I didn't have class that day with those kids. So yeah, here I did a lot more color coding in terms of my tasks, but it really just kind of depends. Sometimes when I have free time, I'll write in what I do during that time. Especially with this, I was like really trying to get my grading done. And so I was trying to use my time to get that grading done. So I wrote that in so I wouldn't forget, like I didn't just sit in the teacher's lounge for 3 hours that day. I actually did grade for 3 hours kind of thing. So this was another one where I didn't have 2 different classes. So you'll see it's a little bit sparse over here. And this, we actually ended up doing the full class. So I just crossed out here and I only saw them at this hour, but I saw the whole class. Oops. And this actually, so wait a second. Yeah, so this was right before the holidays. So we actually had February 8th was week 19. And then this week, February 25th is week 20. So they do actually, like, they keep the weeks alternating, but they skip over the holidays. So this was a really weird trimester because we had the Christmas holidays and the February holidays. So the trimester itself was like 3 months long, but we had 4 weeks. So essentially a month that we just didn't see the kids because we were on vacation. So it was just kind of a weird, like, spacing out of things. Like it was very strange. But so this is this week, and you'll see I had grades that were due, and this was the end of the second trimester, so I wanted to make sure I had that because grades were due like by the end of this day. I had, let's see, here was a meeting. So we're gonna have all of our end of trimester meetings coming up. So you'll see like the following week I've got those labeled out. And here I've got some more stuff color coded. I have this, my orange class, they are actually going to be finishing up their unit in the next couple of weeks. So I wanna start planning the next one because it's the first year I've had this class. So I'm kind of making things up as I go. So I want to try and have it kind of ready a little bit earlier, I guess. So I started making some notes about what I could possibly do with them for the next unit. And yeah, that's my weeklies. I've been using my notes section a lot. So you can see, for example, we had parent-teacher conferences. I had literally like 40 or 50 kids or something ridiculous like that. So by the halfway through, I started doing less because a lot of times it was just like, a lot of them were my really strong kids. And so it was just like, yep, everything's good, like moving on. So I have all those notes in here. Sometimes when I get things from meetings, I'll glue them in so I don't lose them. And then now we're starting into color coding. I had class meetings and all of that. So this notes section has been really handy. I'm definitely getting kind of near the end. So I think that it might actually end up being that I use this section for notes. Like I think I might actually need it. But otherwise, yeah, things have been going really well. There are definitely some things I'm already thinking about for next year. I do want to start deciding in the next like month or two what notebook I want to use as my next teacher bullet journal. So last year I used an A4 size Leuchtturm. This year I have this Mint Princess notebook. I like the size. It's definitely more portable, but this ring is so big that it just is kind of bulky in my bag. So I think I might actually go to my stationery shop and see what kind of notebooks they have and start sort of thinking about how I want to set it up, because I have some definite changes that, you know, now second trimester, I kind of know what I use in here and what I don't. So I definitely have some things I want to make some changes in for next year. But that is the update. Honestly, this is a pretty quick one. Now that I know which sections of the notebook I use, it's kind of just going along as normal. As you guys can see, I use the weeklies a lot. I use the monthlies somewhat, and the rest of it just kind of depends. I do use the notes section a fair amount, but a lot of the other sort of curriculum specific things I really don't use, just because I've been using Google Drives, which I am still using Google Drives in order to like plan my lessons and all of that kind of stuff, and that has been going really, really well. So it actually has made it so it's easier for me. I have less that I need to write down in here because I have it digitally elsewhere that I have access to when I'm in class. So that's been really great in terms of saving me a little bit of time and making sure I'm not losing things in the shuffle, because, you know, 7 classes and so many different levels, it's really easy to say, oh, well, where did I put that one piece of paper or whatever. So having it either in here or on Google Drives has made my life so much simpler. I'm really, really happy that I made that decision this year. So that is all I have for you guys for my update on my teacher bullet journal. If you guys have any comments or questions, let me know down below, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye. Hey guys, so if you've made it all the way to the end of this video and are actually watching my end screen and you're not subscribed to my channel, I would really appreciate it if you would. There's a little button right there for you to do it. And if you're interested in watching some more of my videos, I have links to 2 of my older videos off to the left there, so you can check those out if you would like to, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye.